Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into one of the most profound questions ever asked. Does God exist? And does science, with all its discoveries, leave any room for faith? We'll explore 7 compelling arguments that suggest not only is there room, but that science and faith might point towards the same truth. So, grab a cup of tea, and let's get started. Let's begin with a big one, the cosmological argument. Think about it. Everything you see, from the chair you're sitting on to the stars in the sky, had a beginning. It had a cause. Your phone was made in a factory, the tree outside grew from a seed, and so on. Science itself is based on this principle of cause and effect. But what about the universe itself? The Big Bang Theory tells us the universe had a beginning, about 13.8 billion years ago. If everything that begins to exist has a cause, then the universe must have a cause, right? This leads to a fascinating thought. You can't have an endless chain of causes stretching back into infinity. It's like a line of dominoes. Even if it's an incredibly long line, some domino had to be the first one to be pushed. An infinite regress of causes is logically impossible. This points to the need for a first uncaused cause, a cause that didn't need to be created itself, but which brought everything else into existence. Many philosophers and theologians identify this uncaused first cause as God. Now let's move from the beginning of the universe to its design. This is the teleological argument, also known as the argument from design. Imagine you're walking on a beach and you find a watch. You wouldn't think the waves and sand just happened to assemble it by chance. The intricate gears, the precise hands, the whole mechanism screams designer. Now look at the universe, from the fine-tuning of physical constants that make life possible, to the incredible complexity of a single living cell. It's like we've found a watch a billion times more complex. Our own planet is a perfect example. Earth is in the Goldilocks zone, not too hot, not too cold, but just right for liquid water and life. If our orbit, our planet's tilt, or our magnetic field were even slightly different, we wouldn't be here. Was all this precision a cosmic accident? Or does it point to an intelligent mind that designed it with purpose? The sheer improbability of these conditions arising by chance leads many to conclude that the universe was intentionally designed. An intelligent designer must have been behind it all. This brings us to our third argument. The very evidence of creation implies a creator. The simple idea is that you can't have a creation without a creator. You can't have a painting without a painter or a building without an architect. When we look at the breathtaking beauty and order of the natural world, the spiral of a galaxy, the structure of a snowflake, the patterns on a butterfly's wings, we are observing a magnificent creation. To attribute all this complexity and beauty to random, unguided processes seems, to many, less plausible than attributing it to a creative intelligence. The universe itself is the masterpiece, which logically points to a master artist. But what about the common narrative that science has disproven God? This leads to our fourth point. Science and faith are not enemies. They can be complementary. Science is brilliant at answering the how questions. How does gravity work? How do cells divide? But it often struggles with the why questions. Why is there something rather than nothing? Why does the universe operate with such elegant mathematical laws? Faith and philosophy step in to explore these questions of meaning and purpose. Think of it like 2 different windows looking out at the same reality. Science describes the physical mechanisms, while faith addresses the ultimate meaning behind it all. Many of the greatest scientists in history, like Isaac Newton and Gregor Mendel, were people of deep faith who saw their scientific work as a way of understanding God's creation. Let's reinforce this with our fifth argument. Something cannot come from nothing. This is a fundamental principle of logic and science. Before the Big Bang, what was there? Out of absolute nothingness, nothing can be produced. Yet, here we are, in a universe teeming with matter and energy. The sudden appearance of the entire universe from a point of singularity doesn't just suggest a beginning. It demands an explanation beyond the natural world. For the universe to pop into existence, something outside of time and space must have initiated it. This is perfectly consistent with the concept of a transcendent creator who is not bound by the physical laws he created. Now let's zoom in from the cosmos to the core of life itself. Our sixth argument is the incredible complexity of DNA. Your DNA is like a super advanced computer code, a biological software program that contains all the instructions to build and operate your entire body. A single strand of DNA contains billions of letters of information, arranged in a specific, meaningful sequence. Where did this information come from? Information doesn't spontaneously arise from random chemical reactions. We know from our experience that complex, specified information always comes from an intelligent mind. The intricate code within our very cells is one of the most powerful pointers to an intelligent creator who wrote the very language of life. Finally, our seventh argument examines the fossil record. The traditional story of evolution suggests a gradual process with countless transitional fossils, showing one species slowly morphing into another. However, the fossil record itself tells a different story. What we actually find is something called the Cambrian explosion, where major animal groups appear suddenly and fully formed in the fossil record, without clear ancestors. This abrupt appearance of complex life challenges the idea of slow, gradual evolution and aligns better with the concept of special creation, that different kinds of life were created intentionally and distinctly. While evolution can explain small changes within a species, the origin of fundamentally new body plans and complex information remains a profound mystery that a creator helps to solve. So to recap, we've looked at 7 arguments. The universe had a cause, it appears, designed with purpose. Creation implies a creator. Science and faith can work together. Something can't come from nothing. The information in DNA points to an intelligence, and the fossil record shows abrupt appearances of life. These aren't meant to be absolute proofs that force belief, but they are powerful lines of evidence that invite us to consider the reality of a divine creator. The world, from the vastness of space to the code within our cells, seems to be filled with signposts pointing beyond itself. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of life's biggest questions. This is a huge topic, and we've only scratched the surface. What are your thoughts? Do you find these arguments compelling? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed this video and it gave you something to think about, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content that explores the intersection of faith, science, and philosophy. Until next time, keep asking questions.